Let's relax into this a little bit. We've been talking about open D tuning. It's been so much fun exploring. We did an open G, we did a drop D tuning lesson. We did what I call a half tuning, where you tune the high E down one full step. And I wanted to get into E tuning, or D tuning I should say, because a lot of people find that playing E tuning, open E tuning, which is this exact same tuning but up one step. So if I put a capo here, I'd be at E, same shapes. But I think I like the D tuning for several reasons. One is it's a little darker, so it's E, A, D, F sharp, A, D. So it looks and kind of sounds like an open E, but again, it's one step down. So in terms of the guitar itself, it's a little easier on the neck of your guitar. It's not quite as bright and not quite as much tension as an open E. And open E is great. That's what Derek Trucks plays in. Depending too on the singer. I find for some songs, my voice is kind of a little lower over the years, and I'm finding out that open D is a welcome change for me. So just to touch on what I did a series of, I think, 4 hit it and quit it lessons, which is little 60-second snips, little clips. And what I went over was basically I showed you a 1 chord, which is just open, and then a 4 chord, which is shaped like this. You got your second finger on the second fret of the A string, first finger, first fret of the G. And that can pass for a 4 chord. And then if you just lower your finger, your second finger to one string down to the D string, you get a 5 chord, a version of a 5 chord. And the reason I showed you those is because they're really easy to access. I think if open tuning is new to you, or maybe even guitar is new to you, this is especially helpful because you can finger that. It's like I always say it looks like an A minor 7th shape, right? If you know that, the A minor 7th looks like that. But it's pretty easy, and you don't have to cover a lot of real estate doing it. And then if you just go down to just open up that A string and put the first finger on the second fret of the D, you get a kind of a nice 5 chord there. And then the second thing I showed you was how to make that into a rhythm. And this is really helpful if you're sitting around playing and you want to just jam a little bit in the key of D in this case. You can just take that 4 chord that I showed you, which I don't want to confuse you, but if we're in D tuning, that would be a G. It doesn't look like a G. And then the 5 chord, of course, would be an A. So D, G, A is 1, 4, 5. But don't even worry about that stuff. We're cool with that. But let's get into just the, I like to call it music application. We're able to get right going and have fun with it. So if you got your open D, right, you're strumming, sounds great. Make sure it's in tune. And then come down on your 4 chord and then back open. So watch what happens when I make that into a rhythm. I'm doing it real slow now. It kind of has that Americana folk blues sound, right? A little Tosh, maybe a little Bob Dylan or whatever. So this is the beauty of alternate tunings, open tunings. There's really no rules in terms of where you can go with it. It's not really locked into any particular rules, because that's why you can just move up and down, which I'm about to show you. You can do stuff like, sounds like, what is that? Greg Allman, Melissa. I think that's in open E. Open D, depending on what you're doing. So yeah, I'm just doing an E shape, right? As if I'm playing an E chord. Beautiful though. Move it up too. And then you got to change it when you get up here. Just you bar it up here if you want. So that brings us to alternate voicings. If you know that this is a 4 chord. Another way to do the 4 chord, which is pretty simple, is just to bar the 5th fret. Different sound, right? Not quite as open sounding, but it's still cool. And it also allows you to do some Keith moves just by by taking that first finger and moving it up to the 6th fret while you're barring it. It's a nice kind of a sus. Okay, and it stands to reason, if you know that's a 4 chord, if you move up 2 frets, you get your 5 chord. So you had a 5 chord down here, or like this, or just a modal sound. So that's 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the G, and then you have that 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. So you can either like that, or, and again, these are all just voicings that I'm trying to pass on to you so that you have somewhere to go when you're exploring, like a little map for you. But know that you can play that 4 chord here and 5 chord here. Now here's another thing that I was just picking up on. I actually watched an old video of myself teaching open E, and I was remembering that you can also play with it and just kind of go, I've just got my 2nd finger on the 5th fret of the low E, and my 3rd finger on the G string, 5th fret. And that's a nice voicing too. For an A, if you move up to, that's a great, almost like a Joni Mitchell sound, isn't it? So rather than just always hitting a straight up, which is fine, it's a straight up A major, pretty bright. If you wanted a little more lyrical, you can either do it like that, or sort of like the Melissa thing. Pretty cool. It's got that Allman Brothers sound to it, and then we're all, I just love the Allman Brothers. A little trivia, I had the good fortune to do a bunch of gigs with a guy named Chuck Lavelle, who's keyboard player for the Allman Brothers, and fabulous guy, incredible player. He played on my 3rd album, Everything, and we did a bunch of shows together over the years. So back to just strumming along here. So what we're doing here is a little bit more on the singer-songwriter side of things, not so much the blues, straight up blues. Now if you want to go for the straight up blues sound, like, kind of a, I'm just working off of the 3rd fret on the B and the E. And that's just kind of it's almost like a D minor. And I showed you guys this one, 7th fret, high E, 8th fret, B, 1st finger, 2nd finger. And this one you can have fun with, like watch. You can manhandle it a little bit, really get after it. That's the beautiful thing about the blues. It's not meant to be perfect, far from it. It's really humble, but it's soulful. So when you're going after stuff like this, you're just playing like a prodigal son kind of a early Stones, Taj. And I showed you guys. Great turnaround. 2nd fret, 2nd finger, A string, and then move it right up. Now I'm going to put the little lick I showed you down here and the lick I showed you here, I'm going to put it together with the walk up and see what that sounds like. Now let's do the walk-up. That little pickup is just I'm hammering on the 2nd fret of the B, letting the E ring. So all these little licks I'm showing you, and then go to your 4. Real simple, right? And then the walk up. So I really, it's funny because the open D tuning thing, I was just sitting around playing it earlier today, and it's just, it feels so, it's a little bit deeper than the E, not quite as bright, and a lot easier to finger for me because the strings they're obviously slacked down one whole step. So I think it comes in handy, and then for me vocally, you know, I can sing an E, no problem. If you wanna do more of a rock and roll move on it, you can do this kind of thing. It's blues, but blues had a baby and they called it rock and roll, right? And all I'm doing is hammering on the A string with my first finger. I'm just going to the A, to the 2nd fret. You've heard that before. It's like a Chuck Berry, right? And if you want to go to A, just pretty easy, right? I'm basically putting my 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the A string, and then back to the 1. And guess where I'm going next? I bet you can guess. To the 7th fret. Same move, right? 7th fret, and the 3rd finger goes to the 9th fret of the A string. And by the way, I'm just using 2 strings, right? It's important to note that. Back to your A position, the 4 chord, and then back to the 1. And if you want to turn around, you can do that. I'm just moving from the 5 to the 5, 6, 7. That's a little corny, but it's fine. You just the cool thing about this is you can take all these licks that I'm showing you, and you can mix it up stylistically, right? So that's cool. Close that. I don't know what happened there. That's about as far as I want to go into the detuning at the moment. I'm probably going to make a whole bunch more lessons on this because it's just so much fun, and I'm having a blast doing it. But one thing I thought about today was, of all the stuff I teach you guys, I love all of it. I mean, I don't teach anything I don't absolutely love. I don't play anything I don't love. And I was watching a take of Rick Rubin, and he was saying, if you're a guitar player or an artist, just do what you love. Don't try to be your own audience, you know, do what really moves you, and you can't go wrong. And I agree with that. So I'm gonna leave you with that, and come back and see me, and we'll talk some more about open detuning and lots of other good stuff. Until then, I'll see you down the road. Aloha from Maui.